Nothing makes me more sad when I meet someone, either dating or through life in general, that their whole essence communicates weakness. Their whole essence communicates psychological vulnerability. Their whole essence communicates an internal gap in their hearts that they're looking to be filled by someone's validation. And the problem with these people is that unfortunately they tend to attract predators. I tend to notice those types of people. I tend to sense, prey, people who are very easily taken advantage of. Why? Because that's how I used to be. I used to have those traits. I think I do to a certain degree, but not to the level that I used to, right? And because of that, when I see that, it for some reason it always gets confirmed, right? And there is a part of me that doesn't, I can't respect them, right? But then there's a part of me that has extreme compassion for them, because a lot of them are not aware of how they're creating their dynamic, how they're creating their reality. Some people automatically attract people who take advantage of them, but for the simple fact that everything about your essence communicates weakness. So we're going to be going over some of those behavior that I've seen in people in my life, that if they just stop doing certain things, stop giving certain looks, stop responding a certain way, possibly they could communicate strength, enough strength to at least deter people from manipulating them or trying them, right? And at the core of all of this is a deep level of unhappiness, a deep sense of not belonging to anyone. And because of that, you tend to be attracted to whoever gives you any form of validation. As humans, we feel lonely when we're not accepted by people. And because of that, just like cattle, just like animal of herd, for example, zebras, a zebra lives in an environment with other zebra, right? But the problem with that is that a lot of zebras tend to fight each other, bite each other, kick each other's kids. But a lot of them don't leave that abusive environment because the alternative is getting eaten by lions or hyenas. And so a lot of people stay in those toxic relationships, stay in situations where they're getting played, lied to, where the dynamic, when there's a power dynamic that's unfair, all because they're afraid to be alone. And this lack of being happy, lack of satisfaction with themselves, causes them to become more psychologically vulnerable to manipulation, psychologically vulnerable to situations that completely break them from the inside. And this will show in your face, in your nonverbal cues, in your behavior, which will encourage more of that behavior. So let's talk about that. And this for me is honestly one of those things that whenever I see someone in this situation, I really want to help them. Even if I'm dating them, I would prefer to not even date them, just to tell them, hey, motherfucker, wake up. Are you even aware of how you're coming across? You're looking like a freaking bunny in the middle of the Serengeti and there's a bunch of hyenas and you're asking for help from the hyenas. Okay, let's begin this, man. The first one is this: over apologetic. This one is the one that, like, I remember this one girl, she forgot to order the Uber where we were supposed to go, and I was like, yo, you forgot to order the Uber. And her first instinct was to say this: I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to do that. I'm like, yo, the fuck, you gonna make me look like an abuser here, girl? Why are you over apologizing? And she had this crazy freaking habit of over apologizing for everything. And I would look at her sideways. I'm like, why do you need to apologize to me for so much? And no matter how many times I told her, she couldn't stop it. She could not stop over apologizing. And that was really problematic, because the sensation that it gave me was that I could gaslight her. The sensation that she gave me was that I could tell her anything. The sensation that she gave me was that she could join a cult. Like anyone can tell her they're Jesus and she'll freaking believe it if you have enough certainty behind that. And that to me really, really broke my heart. And this is something that we all do, and not all do, but we do to a certain extent when we want a person's validation a lot. Over apologizing, apologize once, and don't apologize like looking like a freaking like a beggar. Like, no, apologize with firmness, and that's that. The next one is never speaking up for yourself. That same girl, there were things that people would do to her, that like people were owing her money, and she wouldn't say nothing, but she would still hang out with them, right? She would hang out with people who owed her money. She would hang out with people who flaked her multiple times. She would hang out with people who insulted her. And because she was a forgiving person, and because she was so loving, and the reason why she was so loving was because she was hurt as a kid. She didn't have her parents. She didn't have anybody. And so she was pretty much alone in the world. And you could sense how somebody who feels alone in this world can just are looking for anyone to show her some form of affection. And because of that, you're willing to forgive a lot. People, loneliness is a really, really debilitating thing. And to me, whenever I see people like that, it's a sign of deep unhappiness. And I was just, and me, I'm someone who's just observed. You know, I don't like to get in the way, tell people what to do. You know what I'm saying? But I would just observe. And she was like, man, this girl, I can't believe my friend just canceled a meetup today, man. And, okay, she's rescheduling. Okay, let's hang out next week. And I would look at her and look, she's not your friend, but she wouldn't see it. She felt so lonely that she would overlook red flags in people. And so she was surrounded by sharks. And to me, honestly, it was a really weird sensation for me being around her as a friend. She was a friend of mine. The sensation that I felt was, a part of me was like, yo, you could take advantage of this bitch. You could. Like, this girl is one of the nicest and most gullible people I have ever met in my life. And a part of me just felt like I'm like, yo, like, I gotta help this chick, man. Like, I gotta tell her what I know here, you know. And I would tell her all the time, look, that's not your friend. That's not your friend. That's not your friend. What are you talking about? I remember one time when I owe her money, right? She let me borrow $50 when we went to a bar, and I forgot about it, and she never mentioned it. A month later, I was like, yo, do you know I owe you money? She was like, yeah, but I was waiting for you. I'm like, you can't do this. I forgot that I owed you money, but some people know they owe you money and they still don't give it to you. This is something that the whole time I was annoyed. Anyways, next one, weak body language. Another thing that she did, right, is her body language was I'll keep her because it was many years ago. Her body language was just a shit show, like this, like that. Like, it was just weakness emanating from her, like radiation. And the way that she would talk, she would have like just like that, like just like that. The body language, like that. That was her body language, like that. She was nice. She was really friendly, really loving person, but she just looked like a little girl waiting for her dad. That type of body language tells people you could break me. That type of body language tells people you could take advantage of me. You know, look, man. If you're in that situation, man, if you want to work with me one-on-one, work with me one-on-one. Call me. It's gonna be a private one-on-one phone call. The videos you see of the Pillow Talk hours are people who agree to ask me questions and make the videos public. But if you guys want a private call and you're in this type of situation, I can really help you out with that. I really could. So please click in the description down below before I close the channel. Take